Hi, last time we talked about ships on Lake Michigan and lighthouses and how lighthouses mark dangerous spots on the water. They definitely are in places to mark where the water might be shallow. Today I'd like to show you how you can make a water sounding box. And it's a way for you to understand how the sailors long time ago, 100 years ago, before we had sonar and satellite ways of measuring water depth, it's how they measured before technology. What you need is a container that will hold water. So it can be clear. A bowl could work. It's nice to have a flat bottom. And then if you have some gravel or sand or rocks, add that to the bottom. Now for fun, pretend, and it's true, the bottom of a water body is not flat. So you can build up areas and make it flat, make a kind of a contour, make your own water bottom. Now I've already started one right here. So here's my water sounding box ready to figure out how to measure the depth of water. Now, when you go swimming, do you like to have your feet touch the bottom of the pool or the lake or the river? You often do because you know where you are, you get a sense there's the bottom, you feel safe. Well, ships did not want to touch the bottom. It could put a crack in the bottom of their hull, they could cause a shipwreck. So they needed to know, how much water do I have? How much clearance do I have? So how they would do that is take a water sounding. Now in your water sounding box, find some things around your house, wood, I happen to have some stones, some coral, and we'll pretend these are obstacles, or these are things sticking up in the water, and a ship would not want to hit one of these. Okay. Now I use this one as an example of a pier. Old piers are out there on the lakes and they jut up. They're there as an obstacle. No one wants to hit them. Even today, if someone's out in a boat, they don't want to hit that. And mine will just float today. We'll be more concerned about the coral. And you could, for fun, you can add other things in your water sounding box. Now how they did it, they'd go out on a boat and there'd be a man who was in charge of throwing the lead line. And because it had lead at the end, a lead weight, and that weight, of course, as you know, is going to go down, down, down. So what he would do, he would he'd have a rope all wrapped up. There was a certain way to do it. He just didn't, I thought, oh, he just drops it down. The boat stays there, but no, there was a certain way they had to do it. So the crewman is on the ship, and it's moving along the water, and he actually starts swinging it around and around. He gets a lot of momentum because he wants to throw that line way ahead of the ship. He wants to give the ship time to get to the line, and by that time, the weight will be at the bottom of the water. So he's swinging it around, swinging around. You can do it as much as you want. And let's just throw it ahead like that. And the ship moves ahead. I'll get my pier out of there. The ship moves ahead, and by the time the ship gets there, yes, the weight has gone to the bottom of the water. So what you need to do is take your fingers and pinch on the rope, or whatever rope you have, and pinch right at the water line. Okay, pinch right where the water and the air meet, water line, and pull it up. And we know we have a small amount of water here, but we need to measure it from here to here. So you'll have a ruler, we'll have instructions for this, and you'll measure. Now I have about 4 inches here. So 4 inches. Now I've made a scale of, I have it right here, 50 feet equals 1 inch. 1 inch equals 50 feet. So I had 4 inches, 50, 100, 150, and 200. 200 feet of water. So you could play around making your scale. And that works well with Lake Michigan, because Lake Michigan averages about 300 feet up to 900 feet. So ship comes through here, they've taken that sounding, they go, oh, 200 feet, we're good. We don't have a deep ship, we'll be able to get through there. But let's pretend they come over here by the coral. The lead man throws it again, round and round, goes down, it hits that obstacle, and again, pinch at the water line and bring it up, and it is 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch, ooh, 1/2 inch is 25 feet. Now if the ship is very deep, we call it the draft, if it comes way down, it's going to hit that. That's going to be an obstacle, a potential shipwreck. So a fun way for you to think about how water's measured. I wonder if you know of anyone that has a boat now that goes out and they have a water sounding device. Ask them if they do and why they might have it. Are they fisher people? Are they recreational boaters? Why do they need to know how deep the water is? Okay, now a fun thing about this is that in 1807, our third president, Thomas Jefferson, he lived on the East Coast by the Atlantic Ocean. And that many years ago, he knew that ships were in danger if the Atlantic Ocean wasn't measured. So he authorized people to go out in boats, and they measured the Atlantic Ocean, so the ships bringing things to our new country and taking things to other countries would not have shipwrecks. Next time we're going to find out about shipwrecks, because even though they measured the water 200 years ago, even though we're measuring the water today and know where there are problems, we still have shipwrecks. Thank you for watching today. Goodbye.